Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU, playing the Dungeons of the Endless again. This is video number 2, where I try to beat the game if at all possible, all the while explaining what I do and why I do the things that I do. Now, you've seen the last video cast, and I have to say that so far your responses have been great. I'm very thankful for your enthusiasm, as well as for all the advices I got, which means the whole 2 of them, but still 2 advices better than nothing. So one of them is actually pointed out, one of the people who watched my previous video, pointed out a serious, maybe not too serious, but still an error I made, which was making the last industry module I made in my last video cast. This person accurately pointed out that this module did not pay out, because I made it when there were only a few, doors left to open on this floor, this previous floor, and as such I didn't generate enough industry to justify the construction of an industry module. And I could have guessed how many doors I'm still capable of opening, because, level 1 is relatively small and usually has around 13, doors to open, or rooms or whatever. So, yeah. Mistake on my part, those things happen, so please do continue correcting me whenever I do make mistakes and I do not realize them. It is important. I mean, I try to teach you maybe something, or maybe you can teach me something so that I can then teach this to other people. You know how it goes. Let's just share our knowledge so that we can become all better at this game while also enjoying it. So, level 2, it's fairly important that we started by explaining the things that changed. So, level 1 is always more or less the same. You start on this wrecked ship, you have only one exit, or rather entrance to the crystal room, and it's kind of straightforward. From level 2 onwards it gets a little bit more tricky, because you have multiple entrances to your crystal room. But I'm going to teach you what I believe is a decent way of dealing with that as soon as we get to this point. So first of all, we need to open a door, because no matter what happens, a door has to be opened. So there's a first room, does have a major module, does have some enemies, fairly easy to kill fortunately, so that's not a very big issue. So far so good, we found our first major module. We can start by making an industry module or a food module. Keep in mind, we do have some resources stockpiled from our previous floor, so we do not necessarily have to start by making an industry module. Still, I usually tend to do that anyway, just because it is just so important to have the industry necessary to make some defenses, and we did not save a lot of industry from the previous floor. I still have some food that I could use to level up Tiny here, but this wouldn't leave me with enough food to actually... Wait a second. No, what am I saying? It would leave me with 6 food, enough to heal up my heroes if I need to heal them up. Of course, I do need the food to hire a new hero whenever I find him, but it is fairly unlikely that I'll find him right away. So I think I am going to level up Tiny, which will give him a passive skill which is completely worthless. As I said, level 3 is where he gets the ability to operate modules, not too important, but he's got better stats, and that is way more important. So now what we can do is either assume that this room is going to be a safe room. Nothing is going to ever spawn in there as long as it's powered, and we can just continue exploring in this general direction. Or we can keep this door sealed, making sure that nothing can come through there, and just continue exploring in this general direction. Which may be not a bad idea, since this room has 5 minor modules, fairly easy to defend, and we have no guarantee that there will be a major module over there or not. So just because of the amount of minor modules that are in this room, I'm willing to continue exploring in this direction, making sure that the enemies can only come through one way, and this was a very good choice as it turns out. A very lucky one as well. A very lucky draw, because this is a dead end. Meaning I can only have to keep those 2 rooms powered at all times, and nothing ever is going to come through here. My crystal is safe from the side. Incredibly lucky random generation right there in work, because usually you do not get this lucky. Usually you have to, make some very important decisions early on while you're exploring the levels. Sometimes you just cannot find any major modules at all. I've got situations like this where I was unable to find any major modules. So far, however, I've been incredibly lucky, as I said. So those 2 rooms, eternally safe, with 2 major modules that I can constantly have powered. I think I'll keep OP-bot working on industry for one more turn, just so I can get a little bit more of it, because I have a feeling I will need some... On one hand, I will need some more industry in order to make some defenses in the next room. However, now that I'm going to open this door, there is a fair chance that there will be enemies behind this door. And they might be powerful enough to break into the crystal room, and if there are any of those crystal enemies that prioritize crystal destroying above anything else, I'll lose some dust that I do not want to lose. Or maybe I'll take some extra damage. So, I want more food in order to be able to heal my heroes if at all necessary. So let's open this door. Another major module. Holy Toledo, am I lucky or what? Okay, first of all, OP-bot, walk over here. And he'll probably stay in this room because this room has a major module as well. And this is a good choke point where I can just kill the enemies. It's not like he was required to deal with those enemies. So far so good. Tiny is proving his value. So what am I going to do? Well, this room is definitely going to be our hub. It has 3 exits, 4 including the crystal room, and it is going to be our last stand, so it will definitely have some defensive modules. And as well as a major module. Now, what kind of major module do I want the most? Well, since this room doesn't have a lot of industry, minor module slots in it, and I do need food in order to hire a new hero, I'm going to go for food production. Usually I'd maybe go for another industry, but right now I feel like food is really my priority after losing this one hero, which was a big blow to my economy because, you know, spending this food on hiring a new one and leveling him up and not having this hero, yeah, it's all bad, but we can maybe come back from this. Now, in terms of defense modules, I'm going to make one Tesla module, I think, because I'm not too sure about that, honestly. So far, so good. I'm not going to make any modules, actually. Just because mana modules are very quick to make, and I don't think too many enemies are going to spawn once I enter through those doors. At the very worst, will just make some minor modules and still it will be fine. Now, I like finding hard to run out, and those enemies... Oh, wow, yeah. Should have made this Tesla module. So those guys might destroy my food module. If at all possible, I want to prevent that, so I'll spend all the industries I have on creating defenses. 1 Tesla and 3 miners is a combination I like. 3 miners are very good at picking off wicked enemies that are left alone by your heroes and other modules, whereas Tesla is just... You know, it is nice at dealing a decent amount of damage. Hey, where are you going? That was strange. Anyway, just because I want to protect my... Hold on a second, food module. I don't think I'll save it. Still, I will have time to... The reason why I'm activating all my skills is because I want to protect my food module, and I will not be in a lot of trouble anytime soon because I have enough dust to power this room, so no waves are going to spawn. I can just safely recharge my abilities, and I do want to protect this module if at all possible, but I think I activated those abilities a little bit too late, so I'm going to lose it, unfortunately. Yep, I did. Fairly annoying, but hey, it does happen, and it is going to punish me in the end, in the long run, but so far so okay. So let's move our pivot right here. I will need the extra industry to make another module. I think I might actually make an industry module this time around. But we'll discuss this possibility when we come to it. I think I am going to explore in a different direction. Now, why am I doing so? Because if I find a pocket with a dead end and a major module in it, then it will be perfect, because this will be yet another room that I will not have to worry about, where I can just create a major module. So by all means... Oh, okay, so far this... layout has been a mirror. Oh, and there is some industry in here as well. That's nice. Okay, I will never say no to industry because it is exactly what I needed. I can now recreate my major module. It will definitely be an industry module. And yeah, reason why I'm not making the defense module for heroes is because I do not find it particularly helpful. I mean, sure, once you stack up a ton of them, your heroes are almost indestructible, but it doesn't really matter if you cannot kill the enemies either, and some of those enemies are just going to go past your heroes, and then what? So, no, I usually say no to this module, I almost never make it. In some very rare scenarios, but even then, I just make it because I like, you know, variety. And another room with only 3 minor modules and no major. It happens, so far so good, as I said. I'm having a decent amount of luck, so I shouldn't complain. 6 gun is not going to be too useful, but that's fine. A crystal guy, but he's going to be dealt with quite easily and quickly. I do not need to do anything. I could level up my heroes again. And I think I got to do so. I mean, the odds of me finding another hero are increasing, but this hero can defend himself, and my heroes are relatively good, so they will probably be able to save him as well. So I'm going to take a risk and level up all of my heroes. Which one am I going to level up, though? I'm trying to remember what Tiny gets at level 4. What does he get? I forgot. I completely forgot. Because I'll be honest with you, I never leveled up OP-bot above level 3, so I don't know what he gets, because last time I got him he died, and I only got him twice before now. Even though I spent multiple hours in this game, I was fairly unlucky. So I don't know what he gets at level 4, so it's a gamble leveling him up. I don't remember what Tiny gets at level 4. I remember his level 5 and 6 because they are amazing, but level 4? Maybe it's just repair minor modules. It is possible that that's what he gets, and this would be fairly bad. You know what, just because I never leveled up a P-bot, I'm gonna level him up and see what he gets. He gets Master Hacker, which gives him more whip for pairing and operating. Ah, cool, okay. Live and learn. Yeah, as I said, in order to level up all your heroes to level 6, I would have, all my heroes to level 6, I would have to play and win this game like, I don't know, at least 10 or maybe even 20 times if I'm unlucky, because you know, those heroes are randomly generated, sometimes I might not get one hero ever, and our P-bot was the one I got the least, so yeah. And he died the one time I got him before. Alright, let's keep exploring. I think that I'm going to go over here to the south, or actually, no, this room is easier to defend because the enemies have a longer passageway between doors, so if the enemies spawn in those rooms beyond this room, then it will be easier to hold them off by making some defenses over here. In fact, this is exactly what I'm going to do now. Actually, no, right now I do not need to make any defenses in any of those rooms. Waves might spawn, but it will be okay. Also, because I'm opening this door with a hero that was in this room, no enemies are going to spawn over here. I'm pretty certain this is going to be the case. Either that or I was very lucky. Yeah, I was very lucky every time until now because the enemies can spawn in there. Well, it happens, I guess. Okay, let's have a quick look at the enemies that spawn. Those three are not a problem. Is there any crystal in here? Yes, there is a crystal. This is a slightly issue. Not something I cannot really deal with per se, but it is an issue nevertheless. So, let's create those minor modules in here. I will definitely use them. And actually, will I? Because I might just keep... I'll talk about this in a second. First of all, I will use both of my abilities. I do need to kill those enemies ASAP because I do want to save my module, if at all possible, because the enemy is targeting it and they destroyed it as well. Yeah, so far so bad. My performance is suboptimal, but it is still okay-ish in the sense that I'm still alive. So what I'm going to do is pointing out the mistake that I made by making those defenses. That was fairly pointless. I mean, they'll probably come into play later on down the line, but so far so bad because I'm probably going to keep this room powered at all times because this is what I wanted, an empty socket of space with major module that I can just, you know, keep exploiting for major module power. By which I mean extra industry, which I do need. So you go over there, P-bot. He's got a ton of wheat now, so he'll increase my industry by 5. Pretty nice, pretty nice. And this room I'll leave with no major module for now. I mean, I'm pretty certain I cannot even make one. You know, indeed, I cannot. So I'll keep those 2 rooms powered up. But the thing I can do is unpower them for now. Power those 2 rooms and make some defenses. The reason why I'm doing that is because I'll learn my lesson. And I'm probably going to need some defenses over here. Even though I'm only making 1 of those turrets each. Actually, hold on a second. Once I unpower this room, how much industry am I gaining per 10? 15, alright. So I only need to have 4 industry in my bank. Good to know. So let's make one other turret over there. And if I make this one over here, then I will have enough. Okay. So, what I just did is fairly simple. If enemies come through this room, or actually spawn in there, I have some defenses, which those defenses will stop the floaty crystals from going further, because floaty crystals always prioritize your minor modules, and will soften up the enemies as well. Now, the problem is, those rooms are very short, per se. So, unfortunately, those defenses will barely do anything. That's why I didn't even want to make more than 2 defenses in those rooms, but even those 2 will fire a bunch of times, and hopefully, they will pay off. I mean, I do need them considering how little heroes I have. Normally, if I had more heroes, I'd probably just neglect the need for those minor modules, but as such, I think it is fairly important to have those defenses. And lucky from me, no enemies spawned. This is fairly good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is power this room because I want to keep exploring north. Because this long passageway, maybe in the future it will be a place where I'll make some minor modules as well, and this will be fairly easy to defend because the enemies will have a long way from one door to the other. And right now, by powering the room on the south, I disallow the enemies to spawn there. So I can, if the need arises, to move my heroes quickly back to this room without fearing that the enemies will overrun me. Yes, the enemies can still spawn here, but if they do, then I can run to this room faster and maybe stop some of the enemies from advancing further, like the big crystal guys. Anyway, what am I going to do now is create a major module for food, because I do need set food. I'm kinda low on both resources. I'm not playing optimally, as I pointed out, but that's okay, because I'm not necessarily here to win. I'm here to make us both, you and me, learn something. Okay, so this room is a bust. A bunch of enemies, fairly strong enemies as well, but they will be... Oh, wait a second, I forgot to power this room. It happens. So far so good. Those enemies will be dispatched very quickly. I do have a major amount of modules in there. Major amount of minor modules. Yep, I just said it. And, oh, you cannot repair, I forgot. So you go over there. You be powered, because I do need this serum to be powered. And now that this is done, I am going to do the reverse of last time. Since I know what is up north, there's nothing else to explore over here, it's a dead end. So I just am going to power as many rooms up north as possible, because I don't want the enemies to spawn over there and surprise me from behind. Whereas I will continue exploring south. South, there's another major module slot, which is decent. And there is also an item which might be useful. No enemy spawned, I'm being very lucky. Restrainer, ooh, I really don't like this item. I'll be honest. So the Restrainer is kinda interesting, because it does give you a ton of defense and increases your HP maximum as well. But it does increase your attack cooldown, which lowers your DPS, and it lowers your HP regen. HP regen usually doesn't matter, but attack cooldown is fairly annoying. I don't like this trade-off usually, but this time it's actually fine. I got to equip it on LP bot, since this guy is not here for his DPS, he's here to operate modules and hopefully survive operating those modules. So by all means, he's going to stay here. So, yeah. Okay, now what else do I need to do? Well, there is a major module over there, and I can power it right away. So far we've opened 10 doors on this floor, there will be quite a few more. So I can create a major module in there. Question is it worth it? Because the only way for me to explore the rest of this dungeon is to either use those doors or those doors. And you know the issue, neither of those two areas have a lot of minor modules. This one has 2 minor modules, this one has 3. Both of those are fairly difficult to defend. So, what I'm thinking... I'm thinking this will be another place that I'll try to frantically defend and explore, because I'm pretty certain that those doors are going to connect at some point. This is my hope at any rate. So I will create a major module on this, in this room, but I'll never ever open this door until I have found the exit and I'm willing to go through it. So, what module do I need and or want? Well, I will not probably make a lot of minor modules from this point onwards. I have my base defenses set up. I don't think I will need any more of them anytime soon. So food is going to be my priority for now. So I'm gonna go for food. That costed me quite a bit of industry, but that's fine for now. And so far so good. My hero is going to continue operating. Actually, I'm gonna send this guy to operate the... You know what, people will stay there. Reason being, I do want industry more than I want food, but if some fast enemy spawns in there, or dangerous enemies like crystals, I need a hero over there to be able to dispatch them ASAP. So there's my reasoning. Okay, anything else? Well, yes, I have enough food to level my heroes up. And I think I need some DPS. I kinda want to level up Tiny. At the same time, I'm really curious what happens when you level up all people to level 5. But this would consume too much food from me, so no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna level up Tiny. Now, I have to be wary. This dungeon is going to end someday, and I do need to have enough food to hire a new hero, but still there are quite a few doors left to open, so I'm not too confused. Oh, I remember. Lower chance to... no, wait, what? It's not lower chance to... Yeah. Okay, so the enemy has increased attack cooldown. Okay, I was confused. I forgot this ability, I'll be completely honest with you. But it's a very nice ability, basically. Makes Tiny survive a little bit more. It's not a very big deal, but it's nice, especially when you're defending against crystal guys that are trying to kill modules. This will make them kill this module slightly slower, possibly allowing you to save said module. A very nice ability, I cannot believe I forgot it. So there is that. Okay. And I think I'm ready to explore the dungeon further by opening the door number 1, the southern door. Actually, what I didn't do is I didn't create any defenses over here, which may be a mistake, but no enemy spawned over here. And any enemy spawned anywhere else? No! Wow, I'm being extraordinarily lucky, okay. I've got a guard uniform, is it any good? Well, it does lower my speed, which is not something I like. But it does increase my defense and HP maximum. And, hey, mouse! Mouse! What happened? Ah, okay, there was something stuck in the laser optic thingy receiver. So the mouse was thinking that I was scrolling upwards when I wasn't. Sorry, it happens. So, as you can see, Restrainer, extra HP, max and defense, but lowered cooldown. This thing doesn't give me as much defense, and this defense is actually a pretty big deal, but I lack my DPS a whole lot than I lack my defense. I'll be entirely honest with you. This guy doesn't need his speed too much as well. And he still has a fairly decent speed, even with -1 to his speed. So, whenever possible, I'll choose DPS over HP and defense, with some exceptions like I prefer Tiny over Hikensha, but usually it's a good idea to just kill the enemies before they can actually hurt you. That's my logic at any rate. So, oh! I didn't notice I got it, even though I got it a few rooms ago. Alright, so this module is one of my favorite modules in the game. It slows the enemies down, giving you more time to kill them, which is invaluable. So, I could raise some of my modules and create it ASAP, but am I going to do so actually? Good question. I could make it in place on one of those turrets, and because this room is actually so big, I might do so. So I'm going to delete one of the minor modules, like this one, and in its place I'm going to create a slowing module. Especially since those crystal guys, they need some time to walk to my major module in order to attack it, so this will buy me a little bit more time. Which, it does lower my DPS, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it's a pretty decent idea. Now this room, it's just going to get a bunch of minor damage modules, I think. Yeah, I like minors, I really do. Also, I don't really have an industry to go for Teslas, as you can clearly tell, so yeah. So there's that. Which door am I going to open? Well, preferably this one. I want to continue exploring in one direction instead of exploring in multiple directions. So, do I want to create any defenses in here? Well, it wouldn't hurt to create one turret, especially since it's a long hallway. But if I need to do so, I may do so later. You never know, maybe this will be a dead end, and then creating another minor module in this room will just be a waste, as simple as that. So, it wouldn't be a waste. This is a fairly big room, a busy room as well. And 2 waves incoming as well. So, first of all, I'm going to power this room, create 2 minor modules. Both of them will be useful because there are floating crystal enemies over there, and they will stop in this room to try and destroy my turrets. They will fail, and this way my hero will take less time to clear this room out. Now, where did the enemy spawn? In those rooms. Okay, that's not that bad. So first of all, let's power this room. Now I can attempt to power this room as well and install some turrets in there as well. But then I would have to unpower. Actually, hold on a second, I have roost on power over there. So let's have a quick look what those enemies are. They're not that scary. There might be some crystals further down the line. I'll keep an eye on it, but so far so good. I'm going to unpause the game, and I'm not terribly afraid so far. So let's keep an eye out. Are there any crystals? Oh yes, they are there. They are kind of scary as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually spend a little bit more industry. Create 2 more minor modules, because keep in mind I have less heroes, I need to make up for it with turrets. But now that this is the thing, I can just move my Tiny over here. I will need him, I will need to kill the crystals ASAP. And this turret will be fine, I'll just repair it when the time comes. And let's see how fast I can kill the crystal. Very quickly, I think. He will barely be able to damage my major module. So far so good. Yep, it went perfectly fine. So, OP-bot, please repair this turret. Those rooms I want to unpower. Actually, I think I gained a lot of dust from this. No, I didn't. It's just an illusion. So there is that. This room I probably want to keep powered for the same reason I always keep the rooms I go through powered. So that Tiny also... There's another reason why I want to keep this room powered. Let's say that Tiny goes over there, discovers the room with monsters, and also monsters spawn over here. And let's say this room is powered, monsters can also spawn over here. They will do damage to Tiny as he's trying to get back to the defenses. This damage I'll possibly have to heal if it's actually severe, which is possible. So by all means I want to limit the amount of waves that can spawn behind my hero, so that he is safer down the line. Later down the line. Okay then, I've got a big amount of food. I'm also gaining a ton of food per second. I'm thinking about leveling up Tiny, because I need to show you the skill. Next skill he gets is, I think, Kneecap, which is a pretty cool skill, so which deals damage over time to all enemies in a room, but yeah, I'm gonna do so. I'll gain 19 food the next turn, so I'll be able to heal my heroes quite a bit. And yeah, there's the Kneecap. As I said, it lowers the speed of mobs in the room, as well as it deals damage over time to them, which is pretty significant, especially against land waves. I really do love Kneecapped. So let's do that, and let's continue exploring. First of all, let's see what is behind this door. I do like exploring a full circle. Fairly unlucky. I could have explored this room from the other side and made a minor, or rather a major module in there. I didn't though, and now it's too late because I cannot close doors after I open them. Still though, the important thing is, as I'm defending, and actually OP-bot, you head over here because I'll probably need you. And those guys will be fine, don't worry, they will kill the enemy without any major problems. Any problems at all, in fact. Yeah. So the thing is, those doors, even though I have discovered both of those rooms, but the enemy cannot walk through doors that are closed ever. So this room is still absolutely perfectly safe, which is something I like. And opening this door is also going to generate resources for me. So this is something I keep saved up until I am ready to proceed to the next floor. Because no enemies are going to spawn, and I'm going to gain a bunch of stuff which might be invaluable. Alright, so with that said, I'm going to continue exploring again. Make sure that everything is alright. Actually, this turret could be repaired, but it's not a big issue. If you really want to win a game, then you should repair every single turret you have that is damaged, but I'm too impatient for that. I am recording a videocast after all, so nope. Okay, no enemy will spawn again. How lucky can I get? Apparently very lucky. Alright then. So the enemies are going to be damaged by walking through this room. Again, I'm gonna move OP bot over there. So enemies, keep in mind, leave that behind, so I will need to pick this up with a hero later down the line, but it's not a big issue. This room, I'll probably fill it up with minor modules as well. I really love them. Very cheap. Hard to destroy even by floating crystals, which are pretty bad enemies, so that's why it's hard to destroy them. For them to destroy those turrets, but they still stop those minor crystals, and they're actually fairly efficient at dealing some minor damage to the enemy before the enemy comes into your important rooms per se. So what I'm going to do is probably explore further down in this direction, because I'm pretty certain that after this door there will be a dead end. It feels like it. We're level 2 and levels... oh, never mind, it's not a dead end, but it does go sideways instead of further south. So under the item, fairly okay, and the enemy spawned as well. So toothpick is something for OP bot, so it's a spear, not a good spear, but it's a spear nevertheless. As you can see, it increases my attack power. I'll never say no to attack power. I mean, after all, it is attack power. Also, I will need to power 2 rooms in fact instead of just 1. This room only has crystals in. Oh, and a big crystal guy as well. This room I have no idea what it has. So everybody go in there fast, and I think I will need Tiny to become a Psycho Killer, just because it also gives him extra speed. I am wasting the power aspect of this ability, wasting the DPS of this hero, but I think like I need to do that. Okay, so there's another crystal, and there is floating crystals. That's another big issue. Some bugs, but they are fine. And here, even more floating crystals. Wow, yeah, okay, good to know. Anything else I want to power right now? I don't really have any more rooms with turrets in them. So I'm just gonna power this room, just cause I can. Okay then, well, this is going to be hectic, very, very hectic. So let me think about this for a second. We'll prioritize the defenses. There is one crystal guy over there, and there is one crystal guy over there as well. Yeah, this room should be safe. So Tiny, run over here, as you already are. OP bot, as soon as I can, I'm going to use his ability. In fact, I'm thinking about leveling him up right away. Then again, I would not be able to heal my heroes, so it's a gamble. But I'm very certain my enemies can take it. Still, no. Never risking this kind of gamble. So hero, definitely I need him to use his ability. I need to kill this crystal guy as soon as possible. He is about to die, but just to make sure that he does in fact die on time, I'm going to use kneecapped as well, which will deal damage all the time to him and kill him automatically. Very nice indeed. Now let's move Tiny over there, while leaving OP bot to repair my major module. So far so good, everything turned out very well, and because of our superior defense, nothing was damaged except for some random turrets far away that I do not even care about anyway. So there is some dust over there that I need to pick up, so OP bot is going to deal with that. Tiny is going to stay in this room. It's a shame that Tiny cannot repair modules, but whatever, I guess we will deal with that. There's something that I didn't power yet. Oh right, those 2 rooms were powered at all times, I remember now. So this time around I am actually going to repair my minor modules, because quite a few of them have taken damage. This one is good enough. I don't want to waste your time just repairing some stuff. So let's continue exploring and advancing to the next rooms. And I think actually I'm going to move people to my industry place. Am I though? Hold on a second, I could swear I should have more food. Oh no, no, never mind, it's my mistake. Okay, no. I actually do want more food than I want the industry right now, so I think I'm just going to continue exploring for now. But those rooms are pretty far away from my well-defended area, so I think I'm going to open this room now. Then again, no, it's better to explore further rooms ASAP, so that then there's less probability that... I forgot what I was trying to say, sorry. But okay, so I'm at max okay. I'm not a big fan of this guy, but he's pretty interesting. He basically has abilities that are very good at empowering your heroes that are in the same room as Max OK, and he he's also relatively good at operating major modules, so that's good. So I'm definitely going to put him in here. Or rather in here, I think, yeah. Because I still care about food a lot, it's because I can now level this guy up. So, as I said, this guy gains a lot of skills that will allow him to deal with the enemies more efficiently. He's got decent DPS, as you can see, he's got 56, which is better than Opibot's DPS. Opibot is not meant to fight, obviously, but still it's fairly impressive. He does have 6 gun, which does help him a lot, but still. And because of the 6 gun, which lowers his attack cooldown, I'm thinking about giving him a Restrainer as well, which will lower... Ooh, it lowered his DPS by a ton. This guy doesn't need the HP, no. Instead, however, I am going to level him up maybe twice, if at all possible. So this skill, as you can see, it does increase the defense and attack power of my heroes in the room. This is basically the theme for this hero. He's very good at making his body strong as long as they're in the same room, which is nice. So let's give him another level up, I think, and does allow him to repair modules, which could be useful even during waves, because, as you notice, sometimes it takes a while for the crystal guys to walk to the next room, and thus I have plenty of time to repair damaged modules. Okay, I get a bit more dust, so I can power this room, giving Tiny a little bit of a safer route back home, which is important. Let's open another door and see what is behind it. A very big room, not a dead end, unfortunately, but it is there is a major module in that, not like it matters, and a ton of enemies spawned. One in there, not a very big problem at all, but quite a few enemies in there. Okay, so Max can move in there ASAP. Let's unpower some rooms, and unfortunately, most of the time that you spend in this game right now is unpowering and repowering rooms in further levels, like level 3 or 4, and even right now you can see it on level 2. Unfortunately, it does happen, it is just the gimmick of the game per se. I think I might lose a minor module, maybe not actually. So what I would like to see in this game, which hopefully maybe will be implemented one day, is a minimap that lets you power and unpower rooms, so that I do not have to scroll slowly to every room that I want to power and or unpower, and I can just use a minimap in order to power and unpower rooms. This would be a really cool feature to have. I wish the devs would implement it. Either that, or just have programmable key bindings that are like, when you press 1, you unpower this and this room, and power this and this room. Which could be a little bit more complicated to implement easily. Not to implement easily, implement in such a way that it is easy for the user to understand, but it would still be a pretty cool thing nevertheless. That said, a minimap would probably be a better solution in general. Okay, so right now I'm generating a decent amount of food and industry. I didn't need to save food for heroes, which is nice, for hiring new heroes on this level anyway. So I can just level up. Oh no, I cannot level him up again. I forgot how much it costs. I always do. Hey, no, come back. You are meant to operate this module. Okay, so let's keep exploring. And finally at the end, this makes me happy. Is it going to be the exit as well? No, so the exit is somewhere closer to my base, which makes me happy. Exits far away from your base are usually a pretty nasty thing. Now, what am I going to do next? Well, there are the enemies that spawned over there, and there are 2 enemies over there as well. So really, same old, same old. I'm going to power those rooms. And yeah, I think Maxwell Kane is going to head over there to help this guy. Tiny is going to go over here, and I don't think there will be any problems whatsoever, because there's actually quite a few crystals that might destroy my minor module, but this will be fine. This shadow of my hero also looked kind of terrifying, but that's not a big issue. So as I thought, I'm actually going to lose my minor modules in this room, so that's not a big issue. I'm going to deal with that soon. And something I just realized, which is another mistake I made. Keep in mind, I'm playing, so... Why did it take so long for those guys to walk over here? Huh, strange, maybe they were just so slow. Anyway, let's move Tiny over here to make this distraction process a little bit faster. Okay, you go over there, you go over there. Now what I want to do is, first of all, repower this room. Actually, hold on a second. I do want some defenses over there as well, so let's make sure I have those. At least 2. I don't need more, because it's unlikely that so many crystals will spawn in there again. Such big crystal spawns are very rare. So you just say grab this dust, I might need it, thank you. Now the thing I realized, I should have unpowered this room before and keep this room powered, because yet again, it is a socket where the enemies, when this room is powered, cannot spawn. They will never walk in there, and I can just create a major module in there. So we've opened a lot of doors right now. It is probably not a very wise decision to create an industry module, but what I can still do is create a food module. Question is, how much do I care about food at this point? Do I care about it enough to spend 25 industry? Very difficult question, but considering I lost a hero on level 1, I think yes. I'm still gaining a reasonable amount of industry per turn. So I think I am going to create another major food module, just to gain even more food. Because I just care about food so much right now. I want my heroes to be leveled up as much as possible for level 3 and 4 as well, obviously. So there is that. I've got enough food to level up Max Okin. I do want to level him up because he's, as I said, a very nice hero. So this ability, I don't get it. I'll be honest. It always puzzled me. It says dust +2 by remove dust. So I thought that it means that when the enemies drop dust, right? Then when this guy walks over this dust, then he's going to give you more dust than you would normally get. Normally, 1 dust pile gives you 1 dust, and I thought that this ability makes this guy give you 3 dust instead of 1. But I tried it and it didn't work this way. I'm not sure if it's a bug or maybe if I'm misunderstanding this ability. Maybe it only works on those rooms that have a lot of dust in them. So that's when you open new rooms, they have dust in them, and maybe this ability gives you extra 2 dust from this. Which would maybe make sense, but I still don't want to use this hero this way. I mean, using this hero as a scout is kinda risky. He's got not a whole lot of HP, and I want him for his wit. I want him operating this industry module. I really, really do. So I'm gonna keep him here, and I keep exploring with this guy, still not really knowing what this ability is. Either I don't understand it, or it's bugged. So either way, it's not important for me. So there is that, and Tiny. You go ahead and keep exploring. I think we discovered a dead end. Yes, we have, so that's fine. Do I want to create some minor modules in here? I don't think I do. So far, my defenses have been entirely legit. They have been stopping the enemies, and I do need to start stockpiling our industry for the next level. So let's keep exploring, see what is behind this door. A room with no major modules, and the exit. Good to know. But by all means, I'm going to continue exploring forward. Reason being, reason is very simple. It's because I believe that with my current set of defenses and my heroes, I can safely defend against no matter what comes my way. There's no way I can really lose a hero, and probably I will not even be able to lose a major module. Maybe, just maybe, this module will be endangered, maybe I will lose it. Either way, it's still valuable, way more valuable to just keep exploring than to just exit this level right away. So that's why I'm going to continue exploring. That's all is there. My major module may be a merchant. We haven't seen a merchant yet. Nope. Just some hostile creatures. And a bunch of hostile creatures spawned as well. Not a big issue. I think I will leave Tiny over here. He's so good that he'll probably deal with enemies quite easily. 2 enemies spawn in there. It's very annoying. They keep spawning in the same areas where I don't want them to spawn because it's, you know, as I said, annoying to deal with. Because it takes forever for those guys to reach this place, and I don't have that many defenses over there. Now, I need to keep an eye on Tiny. He's going to deal with a lot of enemies, but Tiny's pretty good. I think I'm going to retreat him though. No reason to risk him. And those defenses will... Oh, wait a second. I didn't see this one coming. So it turns out the air has improved, or it's just a lucky draw, because so far I've never seen a crystal guy actually make a beeline for nearest module. He would always prioritize major modules, but I was under the impression that he would only prioritize them if they're on his way to the crystal. Turns out I was wrong. Either the AI has been improved, or I was just really lucky until now. I'm voting for this first option, honestly. So I don't think my heroes will be able to make it into this room in time. Maybe Tiny if I use his Psycho Killer. So I will use that, see if he can make it. But it's fairly unlikely. Do I want to use Kneecap? Yes, I do. I want to save this module if at all possible. And I think I succeeded. Yep, I did. Okay. It did cost me 2 abilities, and Kneecap takes a bit to recharge, which is fairly bad. You always want to keep your abilities ready for when you are ready to move your crystal to the exit. Reason being, whenever you progress to the next level, your abilities automatically recharge on the next level. So there's no reason not to use them. And you do want to keep your enemies' abilities charged so that you can save your hero if he's in a dire situation. Okay. I've got 1 more dust to power my rooms. Which room do I want to power? Maybe this one, because I'll keep exploring in this general direction. As I said, it's the standard idea. I'm really tempted to make some minor defenses over there, but so far so good. And even if I do lose this module, I'm honestly not going to cry. Really, I'm not. So let's continue exploring in this general direction. Music, where are you? I need you. Music fulfills its purpose when it's playing, not when it's mute. A blueprint, not useful. I think it's Claymore, mine. Yep, it is the most powerful defense you can have. I usually, when a room has a lot of minor modules, I usually make 1 of those. Because, thing is, this mine is very tricky to use, because you cannot control it. It always fires on itself on any target. It deals a huge amount of damage, which is nice, but it more often than not just fires at the enemy that has like 1 HP and just wastes its potential and then takes forever to reload. So I usually do not go for more than one of those guys. I assume that it might be a good idea to make like 5 or maybe even like 7 claymore mines in a single room and just make it so that they all fire at the enemies when they come through, killing them instantly. But knowing that this game they would probably all fire at the same enemy, and then the rest enemies that walk into a room would basically be free to do whatever they want. So I do not trust this defense at all. I usually make one of it and that's it. But anyway, as you can see, we'll explore the dead end on all sides except for this one, so this will be a little bit tricky. All sorts of enemies can spawn there, let's hope not too many do. Actually, I have enough food to level up my heroes, I just realized, so I might do so. Enemies did spawn, not a very big issue so far, however, but I'm still going to level up my heroes. Now, I am going to level up Tiny. Actually, am I? I'm at... No, I'm going to level up a Peabot. I should have done so before because I need a sweet. I really do. So let's level him up with 51. He also gets... Oh, he gets a paramedic ability. I didn't know he gets that. This ability is also an ability that can be given to your... What's her face? I don't remember the name of the hero. It's this nurse hero. The nurse has a very cool passive ability that heals your hero in a room, as well as this ability, which is active ability, which heals your hero in a room. It's not that powerful. It sounds really cool. It actually is fairly... fairly non-amazing. Not amazing, I don't know what it means, but... Let's say that I'm not impressed by this ability. It doesn't regenerate your health by a lot, but it can save your life, so it's nice to have it. It's nice that OP-Bot has it, because he is basically your support specialist. He is not useful for anything else. No more wave spawn, so this room will be perfectly fine. No reason to worry about it. I will empower this room. Empower this room. Reason being because I don't want the... There's fairly big probability that the enemies will spawn in the southern corridors. I don't want this to happen because there can be a ton of them. Okay, last room. Did we really not discover any merchants? Or is there still a door that I missed? I have never ever seen a floor with no merchants. I never... Oh wait, there's another door. Whoops. Okay, I was really surprised for a second. Anyway, what is that? Those are the bracelets. I don't remember when was the last time I got them, but they're fairly nice. Defense and attack power. I'll give it to Tiny. Tiny needs attack power, and he does need the defense as well. I really like Tiny. What can I say? I'm biased. I always give him the best stuff. As simple as that. Okay, I've got a ton of food. I might want to level up Max O'Kane, even though it is expensive, but he gets a decent ability when he's leveled up. This is the Ultra Speed ability, which is useful. The reason being, later down the line, on further levels, sometimes you just need to traverse a lot of corridors very quickly. And, usually your heroes are not able to do so. Max Kane, however, is capable of doing so with this ability, which is nice. Okay, so no wave spawn, very nice. I'll have an easy way to the exit without any stress, it looks like. I still have one door to open, keep in mind, which will give me extra food and production right there. So let's open it and be on my merry way to the exit. So also, I should point out that this ability is also, I believe, the first? Yeah, it's the first ability you get after leveling up. The hero that is a crazy, this hero based on Samus, okay? That is a reference to Samus, who's got a sword and a crazy amount of speed. She also gets this ability early on, and she's probably the best scouting hero you can get. Still though, Max O'Kane with this ability is a very good scout, but because he's also got way more wit than my Tiny does, I don't want to use him as scout. I suppose that. So, Tiny opened the last door, give me some of everything. Yep, 69 food, perfect amount to go to the next floor already. So, let's think, who's the fastest hero? Well, with the ability, this guy's the fastest, but without the ability, he's as fast as Tiny. Now, thing is, would I rather have use his abilities, Tiny or this guy? This guy, when he's using verbal abuse, he does make your heroes more, he does give them more defense and attack power. However, Tiny is faster, which is not too important, but he can also just... He lowers the speed of the enemy mobs in a room, which could be invaluable when trying to transfer your crystals. So I'm thinking Max O'Kane is going to be our crystal carrier, whilst Tiny is going to be the guy who will protect him. So let's unpower all the rooms that I do need powered. Let's power all the rooms behind the crystal chamber so that nobody can spawn in there. One more room to unpower. This place will... Actually, no, I don't want anybody to spawn in there. I don't want anybody to spawn in there either, because it's really safe. This room is also... decisions. I want power this room and power this room, just because the probability of the enemies spawning in there is lower than the enemies spawning in there, because there are more rooms in there. So yeah. But in this case, Tiny will stand watch over here. OP-bot is probably going to be over there, because he is the slowest of my heroes. Actually, they all have identical speed. Wow, I didn't even know that. But still, OP-bot is going to stand over there. I don't trust him to be anywhere else, and if need arises, I'll just move him. So, let's grab our crystal and keep moving to the exit. So, some wave spawned, not a very big issue. And it turns out my hero decided to go this way. Okay, so far so good. Tiny is dealing with the enemies, and a lot of them spawned south as expected. Go ahead, Tiny, just show this guy what you've got. Easy peasy, this guy is killed. I didn't need to use this ability, but I thought that I might as well, because it's cool to use this ability. So Tiny now, just because I can, I'll use Sneak Up, because keep in mind this ability will charge as soon as the region next floor. And that was very easy crystal to, you know, escort to the next floor. And now we've got a ton of resources in stock for the next floor. Usually you would have more when you enter level 3, but it's still the amount that I'm satisfied with, especially considering the levels that my hero have. I mean, they are at like what? 554? No, 555. This is absolutely amazing. And the starting room is also again very nice. I can already tell our starting surgery will be exactly the same in the next video as it was in this videocast. Anyway, this video is very long already, much longer than I usually like them to be, but I figured I might as well let it end. I mean, I might as well beat the level before ending this videocast. So, it was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mig Spammer. Thank you very much for watching. Please, if you enjoyed this videocast, leave a like, because they help me, leave a comment, because I like them. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already and you are interested in more of my content. Anything else? Yeah, you can also check out my Twitter if you want to chat with me, because it's the easiest and best way to chat with me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you online.